Oh, hey, what's up, crew? I know the lighting is a little bit weird, um, because I'm in the office. I was gonna do a drive today and get coffee, but I've got a bunch of like meetings and stuff, so I just can't make it happen. Um, but let's jump into it. Last time we talked about nutrition. I don't know if there's any follow up on that, but I did say I was going to talk about the new soft shell that I have on the truck. Um, yeah, so I have been wanting to get back to doing like camping kind of stuff. Like I used to camp quite a bit, but it was like backcountry, hike off into the woods. And I don't know, that just doesn't seem as attractive to me anymore. But the idea of being able to drive somewhere, sleep close to a trailhead, and then wake up and then go ride sounds really awesome to me. I hope the sound is okay. I'm using this right now. But yeah, let's talk about why I chose that. So I started from a place of like, I was going to get something like a cargo van, like people do, but I also didn't want to go full van life van because it's just a lot, right? It would be like getting like a super gnarly off road vehicle to go drive on dirt roads occasionally. So I didn't want to go that route, all as attractive as that sounded. For a little while, I thought about getting a one of the smaller cargo vans, like the Ram ProMaster City, I think it's called, and there's a Ford Transit something. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, the smaller ones. Yeah, but that's another vehicle. I already have a really awesome Tacoma 4x4 off-road build, so that thing is awesome. And eventually, I came around to the soft topper. I guess I should talk about like what was I looking for in a camping setup, I don't want to say overlander setup, but like what was I trying to do, right? So for me, I'm not necessarily going to be doing I'm not planning on doing like a serious overlanding expedition in the Tacoma or whatever. I'm also not wanting to do like, van life, stay in this thing for a week or a month or whatever and be road tripping around. I also, so I needed something that could do like quick trips, like a couple of nights in it. I needed something that wasn't going to require me to have one more vehicle, right? This has to do with the whole thing about reducing the cost of my life. Right now, the Tacoma is just a couple of months away from being paid off, so I really don't want to take on another like payment, right? So once that's paid off, there'll be just like several $100s a month that will now no longer be bound up in this car payment. So trying not to get another vehicle. Also, I wanted something that was pretty cost effective because of how much I'm going to be using this. I didn't want the cost to be way more than my usage of it, right? I wanted those things to match. I also wanted something that was going to be really flexible, something that like, you know, I could be, for shuttling, right? And I need to put 4 or 5 bikes on the back of my truck. It would be pretty easy to do that. And then be able to just quickly switch it around and turn it into like my camping setup for those quick, short trips. Okay, so what else? I also wanted to still be able to fit it in the garage. So, things like a rooftop camper was not going to make sense there. And a couple of other things is just general like convenience things in my life. Like I don't have a lot of storage space. So like if I had a big gigantic thing, I don't really have a good place to put it. Like if I got one of those like insert camper shell things, I could feasibly park it like out there, like in my front yard. But then it's just this big ugly thing in my front yard, and then getting it on and off the truck is just like a pain in the butt. So there's all those convenience factors. So cost, convenience, and then making it really match my life. And so the soft topper kind of came up because it's, less than half the price of a regular hard shell camper shell. And it's, from the videos that I saw, it seemed like it's really easy to fold down, take all the way off if I want to take it off. But for the most part, I could just fold it back. I don't know if you're familiar with the soft topper, but think of it as a camper, it's like a convertible in a camper shell had a baby, right? So it can act as a camper topper, but then you just pull a couple of things and you fold it down, and now you've converted your truck into just pretty much a regular truck again. So I wanted to be able to fold it down, and then it's also really easy to take out, and then also have something that I could sleep in for those quick trips. It also doesn't cost that much. It's also pretty lightweight compared to a hard shell camper, and so it's not gonna fuck up my fuel economy that much. And it also looks pretty cool. That's like an added benefit. It kind of has that kind of military, kind of adventure safari kind of feel. So that's pretty cool. Now, I think it's like $1,200, like with tax and shipping and all that kind of stuff. 1,200 USD. So installed it, and it was putting the frame together was pretty straightforward. Getting it on the truck was pretty straightforward. Putting the actual canvas over the frame, that was a pain in the ass. That took me quite a while. Part of that is that my hands kind of don't work that great. My injury in my wrist, it makes it so that my grip strength, like holding a barbell or a dumbbell, I can do that. But anything where I'm trying to use my fingers and pull on stuff, my hands just don't do that. And my thumb on this side was all jacked up, so it's kind of missing. So anyway, I eventually got it though. It took me time, so even a little guy with fucked up hands could eventually get it on. I did make sure and put it out in the sun for a little while to get it warmed up. But then once it's stretched out and is on for a little while, it's way easier to put on. So I had my first test of the camper. First test was just driving it on the freeway at 80 miles an hour, seeing how it does. Totally fine. Last weekend, I put 2 bikes in the back of the truck with just folding up the back. You can open up the back door and roll it up, strap it at the top. Getting the bikes in was a little tricky. What we did, I don't know if you've seen this technique where you have your bed open, and then you put the 2 bikes on there. Basically their down tubes are on the bed and the fork is kind of laid over, and then you just close the tailgate, and then it all goes together. And that worked pretty good. It was taking the bikes out because my truck's not lifted or anything, so the front tire, especially a 29er, gets stuck between the tailgate and the ground. So it's kind of hard finagling your bike off of the truck. So that was okay. I think for a single bike, that'll be fine, especially a regular, not e-bike. That, because we were doing it with e-bikes, it was a little bit harder, but with a not e-bike, it'd maybe be a little bit easier to do that. Now, actually that was weekend before last. Last weekend, yesterday, me and my buddy, we're gonna go ride again. And this time I figured the canvas is probably stretched out enough. So I pulled the little straps and just folded it down. That took like less than a minute. It was just boom, down. And then we could just treat the truck bed like a regular truck bed. Boom, 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 bing, bang, boom, in, out, all cool. And then when I got back home, me and my buddy put it all back up. I didn't really need his help. I was kind of like, hey, Steve, like, would you help me put it back up when we get back? Because I didn't really know how stretched out it had gotten. And when we got back, put it like, 30 seconds or 45 seconds to put it back up, and it had definitely stretched out a lot, and it just was like boop, boop, boop. Didn't take me long at all to get the canvas back up and the soft topper back where it was. So I'm pretty stoked on it so far. I have a design that I'm working on. I think I talked about this later. There's a guy I saw that did a cool design for a short bed Tacoma to be able to sleep inside of. Because it's a short bed, I have to sleep diagonal. But he had a cool design that basically, sorry if I'm repeating myself, he had a cool design that basically made it so that he leaves a corner. He makes the platform that's basically at the height of the wheel wells, but he left a corner at the tail, like towards the tailgate. He left a corner open because you have to sleep diagonal, you're not going to really use that corner to sleep anyway. So by leaving it open, he makes a space for you to be able to get in and out of the truck without having to like go straight onto your bed, onto the platform. So if you want to take off your shoes or whatever, you just have this little corner. It's pretty cramped, and it's probably the kind of thing you'd have to do with the tailgate open to like be in there, but it's just an extra space that's not on the bed. And it also made it so that you had this kind of diagonal opening into the rest of the storage space underneath the platform. So my buddy Jeff said he's going to help me build one of those. I have tools here at the house, like I have like a skill saw and a chop saw, and I could do it here. If I were just making a platform to fit in there, like boom, I could do it here. I'm a little scared, but I'm pretty confident I could do it myself. However, I want to do it in such a way that I can collapse things pretty well, going back to that whole like storage thing. So when I want to take it out, which will actually be a lot of the times I'll have it out, I want to have it so that like I don't have this big like, you know, it's like, I don't remember, it's like it's like around 4 feet wide, like a frame. Like I don't want to have this like frame that I gotta like put somewhere, and this big like gigantic piece of wood that I gotta put somewhere. So yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. So he's gonna help me with that. Also, I think framing out the drawer, there'll be like a drawer in like the back part. I've never done that, and I think I'd kind of need some help with that, just because of the precision aspects of it. And then, yeah. And that was kind of the other thing. So like, when I'm camping in it, so here's the thing, like I don't want to have a bike rack on the back of my truck. Here's one of kind of the other requirements. I don't want to have a bike rack on the back of my truck all the time because the tailgate pad just works so well, so convenient. I do have a nice bike rack that goes, a nice hitch rack, but I didn't want to use that all the time. So having a camper shell on there, like a hard shell, makes it really hard to get bikes in and out without using the whole tailgate method, like the up and down tailgate method. So when I am using it for camping though, and I have that platform in there, I obviously won't be putting the bikes on the tailgate. So then I'll be using the bike rack. And because I'm camping, I know I won't necessarily need, it's very unlikely that I would need to stack a bunch of bikes. You know, that the rack that I have will carry 2 bikes. So, you know, I don't know if I would need 2 bikes when I'm going on a camping trip, but if I needed, I could do that. Yeah, so those are kind of the main reasons why I went with the soft topper. Doesn't mean that down the road I might do something else. I did see this really cool thing called the Moonlander, which is kind of like takes the benefits that you get from one of those like insert camper things that, like, you know, it goes in your bed and then it gives you a little more width on top, right? It gives you a little more space on top. It's like that, but it connects like a camper shell. So you don't have to like have this thing like going inside. It's kind of, I guess it like stays on better, but it also like looks pretty cool. It looks like a Moonlander. Starting, and that's also like a price thing, because I guess like if you get one of those like big super awesome insert camper shells that like extend at the top and all that kind of stuff, those like start at like 10 grand, like no mods, no extra nothing, just base model 10 grand. Whereas like this thing, I think starting out is like it starts out at like 5 grand, and then, you know, with mods and stuff maybe gets you up to like 7 grand. So that's kind of, obviously this would be like down the road, at least a year away. If I were to do something like that, it would mean I couldn't park the truck in the garage. It also seems like kind of hard to take off and put on. Yeah, like, because like a camper shell, a couple of people you can pull it off. I don't know. Yeah, comes with a lot of inconveniences, but it did seem pretty cool. Yeah. Soft topper. We might have some camping videos in the future, especially once I get the platform and stuff set up. I was just talking to somebody who like does like regular, like just little truck camping things, and like it'd be cool to like connect up with her and then go on these like side by side truck adventures. Yeah, I'm supposed to go to Santa Barbara this weekend for a shuttle ride. A buddy of mine, actually a Giant teammate, has his parents said that they'll shuttle us, so that'll be cool. And that actually would be a really great example of, like, let's say I had my camper set up, I could go up Saturday night and then like just, you know, camp somewhere and not have to do the crazy long drive Sunday morning to get up there. Yeah, but we're not there yet. Yeah, so whole thing on the soft topper, huh? Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thanks again for the support. And yeah. Also, I hope you dug the Sky Park video. If you're not here in SoCal with me, you should, if you ever come to Southern California, you should definitely check out Sky Park. It's kind of a trippy place. It's like, it's not your usual park, and it's a pretty good day. Yeah. Yeah, and if you're ever in Southern California, hit me up, DM me, or whatever, email me, because especially if you're here in the summer, we can hit up the bike parks. There's Snow Summit, there's Snow Valley, which is, it's okay, and then there's Sky Park. And there's also all the Orange County trails, especially that's good in the winter, like right now, because it's like perfect temperatures down there. Greer, I just went to Greer in Temecula. We were there yesterday. It was like mid 60s the entire time. It was like perfect riding weather. The dirt is also good down there. A lot of Southern California right about now. So yeah, make a trip to SoCal. Let's ride. All right. Until next episode, have a rad day, and thanks again for your support.